Okay, this one is kind of weird. There aren't many questions that test this rule in this way on all the SATs that I've seen. So it's a weird application of a rule that comes up a lot. And because I know how to predict the question, I kind of know where my brain needs to be thinking just based on these answer choices. So when I see words like is and was and has been, I'm starting to see that these are verbs. And on the SAT, they often test verb agreement, meaning that singular verbs need to be matched with singular subjects and plural verbs need to be matched with plural subjects. To me, this is one of the hardest rules that the SAT asks about. But just to get started, what I'd want to do is sort through these verbs and say, okay, which ones are singular and which ones are plural? And remember, all singular verbs end with the letter S. So is singular. Was is also singular. Has is also singular. So it seems like it doesn't matter because they're all singular, or I can delete this for some reason. So, okay, I'm still going to follow through. My hunch told me that this was about verb agreement. I'm going to stick with that hunch and say, okay, let's just do the job. Let's apply the rule. So that means I need to find the subject of this verb and see if it's also singular. So what is captivated? That would be kind of like my question. Children were entertained by its plot about the antics of a mischievous cat and is captivated by its eye-catching illustrations and memorable rhythms and rhymes. Well, they're talking about the children, right? The children are captivated. Not is captivated, right? Because children is plural. So here's the problem. Yes, all of the choices are singular, but that means none of them can work because we have a plural subject. That's not agreement. They need to both be the same. We need a plural verb here. So we could say children were entertained by its plot about the antics of a mischievous cat and are captivated by its eye-catching illustrations. Or we can say that the children were entertained and were captivated. We could also, I guess, say children were entertained and have been captivated by its eye-catching illustration. It's a little weirder for the tense reason, but agreement-wise, that would make sense. Have, were, are, those are all plural verbs. So we don't have those options. And we can't pick the singular one because we're not allowed to have verb disagreement. So that leaves us with choice D. And you may have gotten this answer without this way of thinking, but I think this is a good example of just like, if you know the rules, your brain is going to kind of know which reasons to pick certain choices. It's not just about feel. And a question like this, I want to feel confident. And now I can because I know the rule. I've memorized a rule. And the reason that D works is we already have a verb, right? We have the verb were. And so that's plural, so that fits with children. And because it's like a list of two things, we're kind of allowed to just double up that verb. The sentence really is, children were entertained and captivated. That sounds normal, right? We added some other words to kind of distract from that, but that's the real core of the sentence. Children were entertained and captivated. And so the were is kind of doing double duty to both of those parts. We're allowed to do that. We could repeat it if we wanted to. There's no real reason, but in this particular case, we don't have the option to repeat it because we don't have any plural verbs. So it's tricky, it's weird, but this is a verb agreement question at bottom. It's really just about thinking about subjects as singulars and plurals and finding matching verbs. So that skill will come up on your SAT. They test it a lot. There's a lot of weird rules to it, but if you're confident with that rule, you can get these hard points right every time confidently, and that's what you want. You want a lot of points locked in so that you can, use the rest of your time on some of the weirder stuff.